Here's Desi girl. I'm down here sniffing everything, checking it out. See if we can get her hiking her leg to piss on something here. She looked pretty standing next to them weeds. They're deader than doornails. All them weeds are right now, but something about that wheat color that just looks good next to her coat. All that shit right there does, don't it? She's a pretty girl. She's pretty good dog for the most part. The only really thing that I know of that's flawed on her that I've had pointed out to me by some of the confirmation judges, which you can obviously kind of tell too, is her rear end's a little bit funny. When she's pulling like that, it looks fine, but one of her legs, I think it's her left one, just cocks a little bit in more than the other. They both kind of do it, but a little bit. I think they call it cowhawks. You can kind of see it. So that was not really sure where that trait came from. Maybe some of the folks that, you know, like Anointed Farm Kennels or T&C or any of the folks with more experience with the blood, Mr. Issel, might know if that's, you know, something that's possibly come from the tight breeding of her. Her mom and her dad were half sister, half brother, or if that's something that just kind of is genetic due with any of those lines, you know. But my goal in breeding her to Brutus, you know, they were both great dogs in my eyes. You know what I mean? They weren't like winning trophies all the time or anything like this, or super good show dogs, or they had the whole complete package. You know what I mean? They had everything I wanted attitude wise in a dog. And what one had as a flaw, the other one didn't. You know what I mean? In other words, her rear end being a little bit weaker would be upgraded with the Colby blood from Brutus, and his rear end is pretty strong and always has been. So my goal was to bring his size down just a little bit, which we did with his son Rocky. He's about 45 pounds, while Brutus is close to 55. You know what I mean? And she is probably, I'd say, 40 pounds, Dessa. And, you know, the females that we kept off of her, one of them's that size and the other one's a little bit smaller. So, out of the breeding, my selection, we kept two. One of them came back to us, you know, just kind of a pleasant surprise. And so we got 3 of the pups now to work with. Look at that thing. What the hell is that? I don't know how think it's dead. Looks like a locust. I ain't never seen an orange one. But yeah, like I was saying, you know, out of the selection off of that breeding that I did for our future dogs, I was pretty happy with the results. The rear ends on all the dogs were pretty decent. There were a couple that had a little bit straighter, I don't know, I guess you'd call it stifle area, kind of like her here. Hers are a little bit straight and hawked in on her rear end, and Brutus added the proper angulation to it, and like I said, I was happy with the results that I got out of the breeding in my selection, the ones that I kept, even the one that came back to us. You know, they're all pretty good dogs to work with. I like them. You know what I mean? They're not no world beaters or anything like that, like some of these guys that, you know, obviously have more time and money than I do to put into the dogs, you know, have. But they're average dogs for the average man, average cost. You know, that's what I kind of was able to get and work with. So that's where I'm at. And her blood basically was one of the ones that I kind of liked from the past, as well as Brutus's. One of the two or three key breeders of the 1900s bloodlines. You know, all line bred, crossed real nice with certain lines, and bred back over, you know, I don't know how much time, probably at least 7,500 years in her pedigree, that, you know, all the same, basic same bloodline. A few crosses here and there, like I said, to kind of keep the longevity of the family going, which I believe is kind of needed here and there. You know, for my personal liking a dog. Other people will disagree with that and say, oh no, you can family breed for as long as you want to and not have any problems. She's standing good there. Her rear end looks pretty square. Not too bad. I believe hand walking really does wonders for a dog's natural shape. You know, I've done quite a bit of it. Had her in real good shape a few times, and she's always seemed to get the most out of the hand walking that we do. You know, as you can see, when they're running, they just kind of run. But when they're walking, they seem to be pulling, really working them muscles in the front end and back end all at the same time. Real good. Some of the dogs that you'll see in the show circuit, and well, just some of the nicer shaped dogs, you know, some of the people that have all that time to put into it and really shape these dogs into, you know, pieces of art almost. They do a really good job, and they'll have a little bit more of a wind line on their, you know, pectorals, I guess you'd call them, muscles. I don't know if they're pecs or lats, more so, probably lats, lateral pectoral muscles, the ones that come up your sides. I call it a wind line myself, but they'll have a nice little line right in here on Desi. It's kind of like right in there. You see the ripness. That my dogs don't really have that as much. She's had it a few times when I've had her in real good shape, but I think a lot of those people are getting that from the spring poles. You know, I do a little bit of flirt pole work to, you know, to key in on some of that prey drive and get some real good workouts out of them. But I haven't actually incorporated a spring pool yet. Something I want to do. We've got a spot in the front yard now, as you can see with some of the videos we did previously with Brutus, doing some wall climb type stuff, which we're going to be dabbling in that a little bit more now that we know we've got a good spot to practice here, that we didn't have to pay for. It was just kind of in our front yard, a tree. Yeah, I'd like to have one that's more set up towards the actual course and the competition, specifics or whatever. But it'll work for now. I haven't got to do any work to build anything to make it, so we're gonna just try to practice with that as long as we can. I really want to get Dessa going on it. I'm pretty sure once we get her out there and get her geared on what we're doing with it and what she's trying to do, she's going to be pretty good. But her and Brutus is probably about 8 now, which would make her probably 6. I think we got her around the same time we got Brutus, or close to it. Maybe it was a year later, so she's probably like 5 or 6. Can't really recall right now, but she's getting up there in age. I don't know. Some of those people with more experience can probably tell you, the good ages for, a weight pull dog, or top dog, wall jumping dog, or, what have you. There's probably a good peak range in the age where they're the best at. I know I've seen some of these conformation grand champions, such as Bronson and a couple others, that they were still real competitive, being 6 years old in the show ring, and that's kind of impressive. So a lot of the dogs they're competing with in the champions class are actually, 2, sometimes 1, 2, 3-year-old dogs, in their primes. And we don't really compete too much in the champion class. We've got 2 champion dogs, but after that it kind of, we were just basically donating money when we went to the shows, which isn't a problem, but it's definitely a little more, fun, and you want to do it again more if you get a little bit of something back, like the ribbons, trophies, and stuff like that. Makes you want to go to the next show. It encourages you to be competitive. You win, you want to keep winning. You're gonna have to get out there and work your butt off. I've had a season or 2 where we did pretty good, but nothing really too consistent. It costs money, and you gotta have time. And for some reason in my life, it's either one or the other that I got. Too much work, a little bit better off financially, no time. Or you got the opposite end of that spectrum, wintertime, all the time in the world, no dog shows, no money to get to travel around and do stuff. But I hope to change that this year, because we're getting, I guess you could call it a company. It's growing a little bit. My roofing company doesn't have a name yet. It's just me and one other guy working. But hopefully this year maybe we can get us a name, get t-shirts, something like that set up to where it's a little bit more professional, and put a little bit more time into our actual business. Of course, that's not going to leave much left to play with unless we have a really good year, which hopefully we do, But I was always taught to expect the worst and hope for the best. That way, when something good comes around, it's appreciated, and when you have the adverse side of that, something shitty come up, at least you were expecting it. It wasn't like it was out of the picture, right? So, just a little bit more theory. You'll get a lot of that if you subscribe to my channel and listen to me ramble as I walk my dogs. Yeah. Try not to get into any politics or any biased views on things. Always try to be open-minded with stuff, but as you'll note, in the dog world, there's quite a bit of diversity and quite a bit of competitive nature and people that, you know, attracted to the dogs that for one reason or another have something to prove, you know, whether it be the best weight pull or the best showing or the best going or the best dock diving, best hog catcher. The list goes on, you know. But, you know, as I say, a lot of times best is subjective as to who's talking about the best of what. You know what I mean? So, what are you doing over there? Huh? She sees me talking a little bit more, so she's thinking she can hike her leg and do some peeing over there. Come on, girl. You know, not much else to say though, right at the moment. I'll have all my 3 older dogs done when I get done with her, and have 3 pups left. It's looking like I'm going to be kind of short on time, so I might just bike those on the bicycle, or we'll see if the boys want to do some weight pull training when they get home. So we'll probably check it in with you guys here again in a little bit. I'm going to go home and see if Seth stopped by, my buddy, or if he's gonna. If not, we'll just jump on the bike and start pedaling. Alright. I'll want to try to get a good video of how each one of the pups kind of gets in their own little groove on the bicycle, kind of like they do with walking and anything else. A couple of them pull hard, and one of them just kind of wants to keep that rope tight a little bit, but not too tight. Stay close. But again, thanks for watching. I'm not sure if anybody will ever get through one of my whole 17-minute walking sessions and listen to the whole thing or not, but hopefully we'll get some feedback eventually. Maybe get some conversation started. Hopefully we get some fans, you know, some people that like seeing us and hearing us and want to do more of that. Because being where we're at and not being able to drive anywhere at the moment because of my past mistakes, I'm kind of stuck here in my own little world most of the time. And well, every once in a while somebody will stop by and see me or call, but more times than not that doesn't happen, and I'm always just kind of doing my own thing, which I've kind of gotten used to. It's fine. Can't never have too much time to think and ramble, right? Alright. Well, hopefully you'll subscribe to our channel. Give us a like if you like the video. Send us a comment, man, if you really, you must, you know. Hopefully it's good. I'm sure there's some stuff I've said that can probably be corrected, which is, you know, I'm not a know-it-all. I'm not claiming to be. I'm not trying to be perfect on here. Obviously, with my videos, you can tell that. So, if you guys are those type of people that want to act like you know it all and, you know, point out stuff about people or things that they could do better or this or that. You know, obviously I'm okay with that because I'm welcoming it here now. And if I have to, I'll explain my case on any, you know, debate that we have one way or the other. But, you know, at least I'm here to offer that option. Can't just chime in and say, oh, that dog's a piece of shit, and then leave and not talk anymore or not say anything else, not answer your messages. You know what I mean? This breed doesn't need those kind of people in it. Those are the kind of people that'll, more or less one step away from being a PETA or HSUS ARC officer, you know, trying to force your opinion or your views on other people. You know, you can't really do that. You can, but some people just don't want to hear the shit. Point blank. So, just gotta watch what you do, watch what you say. Enjoy the dogs. Hopefully you'll think we're doing a decent job here with ours. You know, like I said, we're not out doing any competing yet, but we're gonna try to get to that level again. It's gonna take a few things to happen in order for that to happen, but we're gonna try to make those few things happen this year so we can come out there and see people, hopefully be a little bit more competitive. I know we got good dogs that can do what anybody else's can do, and you know, sometimes it's just me that's lacking in some departments, whether it be time or money to get there. You know, I'm not afraid to admit that. But when I ask questions and stuff about shows and the judges and how come it always seems like the same dogs get picked and things like this, you can't get upset because it does kind of seem like that. And if I try to use humor, make a little snackle about the treadmill being in someone's trailer and they're working their dogs as they're driving from show to show, you know, that was a joke, obviously, you know, but sometimes you wonder. Just looking at the show roster this year, we got, well, March, April, and May loaded up. There's one dog show every weekend somewhere, it looks like. And some of you people make it to every one of those. So basically, I just don't understand how somebody who, you know, has spent a lot of the time that you guys have been driving back and forth to the show, working, walking their dog, you know, can't be competitive. What am I doing wrong here, more or less? I know my dogs are decent. Like I said, I started out with good stock, good bloodlines. Both of them made champion. The puppies can't be too far from it. With one generation of my selection, I think my dogs have improved, but you know, I guess that's subjective to my opinion and anybody else's. So hopefully if you see this and, you know, I got a dog from you and started off with it, tell me what you think, you know. Let me know, hey, I think your dogs are getting better, or I think your dogs are getting worse. You know, let me know what you think, good or bad. I'll take it either way. But just don't get mad if I got something to say to come back at it, you know what I mean? And act like I'm trying to argue a fact or something which may or may not be true. Most times it's not. I'm just trying to point out things. But, you know, obviously sometimes I feel like other people are misinformed. And it's easy to get caught up into that. You know? Get some of this popularity stuff going on and throw that into the mix and boom. There you go. Mass confusion. You know, while some of us littler guys don't really care too much to be known, just here doing our thing with our own dogs. And we may not want all that attention that you want, you know? If we do, we sure in the heck don't know how to get there, because we ain't got the time or the money that you got. Or the killer dogs, right? Yeah. Anyway, easy, baby. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be a make it or break it year for us. We've had a few break it ones the last few, but we ain't gonna quit. We're gonna keep on going, keep doing what we do. Hopefully not pissing people off too bad. We'll talk to you guys later. We'll see if we can get the bike on the other 3 dogs this afternoon.